hate, or honestly comments of any kind to anyone mentioned in this video on behalf of me or yourself. The purpose of this video is to give my commentary and opinion on matters of public concern. Thank you. Order in Nicki Minaj's internet. Okay, we got assignments. From Nicki Minaj the other day in her spaces to look at the docket.
You are just a part of this game that those people are currently playing. They need the loudest voices to be irritated at the same time to get on social media to drown out the docket. They need to distract you. They need to distract my fans to drown out the docket.
So I was going to do this live on my other channel, ThatSurpriseWitness, but then truth be told, I started getting a little overwhelmed. It is serious out here. We did need to be looking at the docket. So we're going to start here with a case I've already covered on this channel whenever I did an interview with Demoree Hadley. You might remember her as Desiree Perez, the CEO of Roc Nation's daughter, who is suing her. And by that, I mean the daughter is suing the mother. Now, I have some updates on the lawsuit and there's some drama afoot. So let's get into the Demoree docket. So unsurprisingly, a bunch of parties in this case filed motions to dismiss. And there were all kinds of reasons for that from, we didn't even know about this. We didn't have any duty to her. We didn't do kidnapping, whatever. Actually not we didn't do kidnapping because that would have been something on the facts. But it's been confusing out here on the docket, but to sum it up, there are some aspects of the case and many claims that have now fallen away and been dismissed, and many of them still remain. So here's like the first paragraph of the order, right? Just to give you an idea of some of the stuff that was filed. CTS Research Inc. Again, these are all people or parties, businesses that Demoree herself sued. So these were defendants. So this CTS Research was one motion to dismiss. Another defendant, Rachel Bernstein, filed a motion to dismiss. Desiree Perez filed a motion to dismiss and to strike. Iconic Creative. So you can see, it goes on. And there was a bunch of stuff that got filed. Now, the judge has made a decision earlier this month. Out the gate, Roc Nation is out of this lawsuit. All the claims against Roc Nation have been dismissed. Very important to update y'all about that because most recent I spoke on it, Roc Nation was being sued and they were defending this lawsuit. No more. And Roc Nation isn't the only party that has been able to be completely dismissed from this lawsuit. Any and all claims against them, from what I understand, this is my reading of the docket. I could always be wrong. If I am, I will correct myself in the pinned comment or the description box or both. But Roc Nation's out of this lawsuit. Also, Iconic Creative, one of the businesses, out of this lawsuit. Rachel Bernstein, out of the lawsuit. She's no longer a defendant anymore. She's off the hook. Natalie Anderson filed a motion to dismiss. She's out of the lawsuit. CTS Research, which I think is one of those private investigator companies, out of the lawsuit. And the South Broward County Hospital District is out of the lawsuit. Now, someone else or another entity, another company that was able to get themselves off the hook from this lawsuit is Life Skills. And if you remember, this goes all the way back to the first thing that really piqued my interest in this case, because Life Skills is one of the outpatient or rehab, I don't exactly know, treatment center of some type that Bam Margera was in. And he was running away from. And his conservatorship / guardianship, because it's the same thing, had expired. But there were some people, some parties at the time who were still depending on that conservatorship / guardianship, saying, oh, he's in a guardianship. And the cops were like, no, he's not. That expired.
Okay, so if you knew he was on the run, why didn't you call us yesterday?
Because I have to go through Lima, and she was trying to get a court order because he's under a Marchman Act, and he's under court order.
That supposedly is expired.
Okay, no, it's new, and it's today. No, it is like today. She's been all day at the courthouse. It's like...
What courthouse?
I don't know. I can put her on the phone if you
No,
want
I have
to.
her number, and she's waiting for me to call her.
I know, but it's
because
like,
I got
please,
him to agree.
You can't leave me with him because, I don't know what's going to happen. He's so angry right now that he thinks I called you guys. I'm terrified. I'm his mother, and I'm terrified.
Okay, but the problem, ma'am, is, one, you picked him up yesterday. You knew he was on the run.
Right, I know,
Okay?
and I knew...
2, you should have called us yesterday. 3, you're not babysitting him, watching him, sitting at a bar having drinks.
No, I know. I'm seriously just doing, like, I'm trying to keep him calm because he's really, really aggravated. And he's, like, going to trash the whole place.
He's not going to trash anything?
No.
That's what you call us for.
No, he sat outside.
All the while, Bam's down the hall in this hotel talking to the cops, saying he ran away from life skills because he needed medical attention. He had fallen down the stairs, broke his arm, broke his leg, something, wanted to go to the hospital. He wouldn't let him go. So he jumped the fence and escaped and went and got the medical attention. I mean, and I believe and I remember at the time to my memory, he did show up with like a cast or something, but he was like running away from this life skills place. And I don't even like it. I put the thing in quotes, running away, because what do you mean? He was like a free man. He was not in a conservatorship or a guardianship. It expired. So because somebody was in one time, now they get to get chased down by the cops as somebody's personal security? No.
Where's my mom? April! April!
She's on the phone. Let her, just give her a minute.
And like sitting at the bar that same time was like April Margera with what appeared to me to be an alcoholic beverage, and Bam had one too. And if he had run away from life skills, then he didn't have his wallet, or I'm assuming his ID. So how did he buy this beverage? And April Margera is like, oh, I'm scared for my life. But before the cops showed up, she wasn't scared for her life. She was sitting there and Bam was drawing on a napkin. All of this revolves around this life skills.
She's going to get her.
Can't believe life skills found.
Life skills. It does.
Dude,
They didn't find him.
I went to Cracker Barrel, 5 people went out, and I ran to the Marriott, and then they said, is Ben Margera here? I said, my name was Edward Cohen, and then they said, no. Then I ran out the back, and I said, are you Ben Margera? I went to fucking Dr. Feelgood.
I didn't even know we were looking for him. No one told me.
They were like 4 months ago.
No one told me we were looking for him.
What about my mom?
She's coming over. Have I lied to you yet, bro?
No.
Okay, and I'm not going to start. All right. Hang tight for a second. Jerry. Yeah. Let Mom say goodbye. He wants to say goodbye. He does? Yeah. See, bro? Not lying. I haven't lied yet, and I'm not gonna.
Love you. I didn't call anyone. I didn't call anyone, I promise you. I did not call anyone. I'm calling Brian right now. I love you.
Ready?
I love you.
Ready? Let's go. 10 out of 2.
So Demoree Hadley is saying that is where she was held against her will. Remember, she took a hair follicle test. She was negative for everything. She was held days, if I recall, weeks against her will. Anyway, better luck next time, because Life Skills has managed to get out of the lawsuit. They're not in the lawsuit. It's been dismissed as to them. However, some people did file motions to dismiss the lawsuit, and the judge said no. You're still getting sued and we're going to trial on this. And one such person is, I think the most important one as far as people are probably concerned, is Desiree Perez. That's the CEO of Roc Nation. So while Roc Nation itself, the company, has been able to avoid this litigation and being named as a defendant, they have been granted a motion to dismiss, Desiree Perez is still in. I do think there was one count she managed to get dismissed against her, and that was the RICO. Demoree had sued for RICO, the racketeering, the civil RICO, but that got dismissed. Everything else, I think, is standing. Count 3, 4, 8. So some of them are like, okay, so some got dismissed. Just suffice it to say, the RICO got dismissed against Desiree. Everything got dismissed against Roc Nation, but some stuff is still standing against Desiree. Now, to be very clear, that doesn't mean she did it. That doesn't mean she is liable. That just means that the case is allowed to move forward to go to the next step of the litigation. Nobody is liable until proven so in court. Okay, so somebody else that still didn't get to get out of the case, they still in the case, is Dr. Bober. And this is kind of another one of those situations like Desiree, where Dr. Bober is accused by Demoree of working as the medical director of Life Skills and being involved with Life Skills as a business. So she kind of like also sued them. Life Skills is off the hook, but Dr. Bober is not. A lot of stuff still stands against him. There's 3 counts still standing against him. That's 3, 5, and whatever XIX is. I tell you, the Romans did not have the numbering figured out in any way. But you know, can you imagine trying to do math equations with those numbers? Okay, so there's some claims that do still stand on this Dr. Bober guy. He was the one that kind of was on the scene. He was on the scene talking to cops. You know, he's accused by Demoree of diagnosing her or, you know, purporting to claim things about her health without actually ever having examined her and all of that. So he's still in the lawsuit. He's still getting sued. You know, there's more still getting sued here. Sig9. Sig9 is one of the defendants, one of the companies that's, you know, getting sued here. And if I recall correctly, is Sig9 a security investigation company? Okay, so they're a surveillance company. They're a surveillance operation because they'll investigate you and also be your security. Anyway, okay, so this Sig9 purports to be a security company and also an investigations company. They're still getting sued. There's still 3 counts outstanding against them. And then finally, Jessica Cady. Jessica Cady, C-A-D-Y, is still in the lawsuit as a defendant. So a bunch of the claims have been dismissed out of the lawsuit, but as we just discussed, a bunch of them do still stand. The lawsuit is moving forward, not as a RICO, not against Rock Nation, but things are still moving, okay? And that brings me to the next important thing I wanted to talk to y'all about today, and that is having to do with this Jessica Cady lady. Okay, y'all, there is some drama, and it kind of like, you know, it didn't like completely slip over my radar or whatever, but it definitely did not really hit. It didn't sink in when I heard about it at first. And shout out to whoever it was online that was tweeting about this. Maybe it was Demoree Docket, maybe it was Diddy Docket. I don't exactly remember how I found out about this, but when Nicki Minaj the other night was like, don't be distracted, you know, by all this side show stuff. Like, go like look at the dockets. It did kind of encourage me to go and look at some of these dockets. Now, I don't know if she was talking about this specific docket. She probably was talking about the Milagro docket, Milagro Cooper, because she was talking about DJ Academics, and DJ Academics is being deposed or was in that lawsuit. So maybe she was talking about that docket, and I did start looking at that docket, but I'm not caught up yet, and I wanted to tell y'all about this drama that I just found. Okay, so we're in the Demoree docket, okay? This is docket number 232, and it's a motion by Demoree for an order from the judge. Pretty much she wants Jessica Cady, this lady right here, to be held in contempt of court for violating the court's gag order. Now, Demoree herself has already been in a little bit of trouble with the court. I think she may have even been ordered to pay some type of sanctions because of her purported violation of the court's gag order. And her defense was like, I did delete everything that violated the gag order that I had control over. There was something on Twitter that was under review for copyright. And so Demoree was saying, I don't even have the ability. I can't delete it because like for some reason I don't have the right because there's like copyright dispute underway, whatever the case may be. She got in a little bit of, you know, trouble or whatever, you know, she got admonished or whatever by the court. So now Demoree herself is filing a motion for somebody else in this case to be held in contempt. And to be clear, I don't know if Demoree was held in contempt of court. I do know that she, you know, got a talking to at a hearing and was told to delete stuff. Demoree's trying to get this Jessica Cady lady held in contempt of court. And it all comes down to these troll account, like snark account, troll account, following a lawsuit troll account. And it's called Tell the Truth Blackbird. All right. Well, pretty much long story short, and I do want to get into some details here, but like, you know, TLDR, Demoree has found, she claims, she has found that these snark accounts that go against her, like tell the truth, Demoree is lying, we have evidence, whatever, you know, these type of accounts that like tweet and make Instagram posts about lawsuits. This is like a totally normal thing now that like faceless, nameless accounts just make very biased posts about lawsuits. Some make very neutral posts, right? But it's like, this is a new phenomenon, right? So this is one of these accounts, and it's got a Twitter account and it's got an Instagram account, and it's basically like set up to follow the lawsuit of Demoree, but like from a slant that's very opposed to Demoree. Basically, you know, calling her a liar, calling her husband names, you know, disparaging names and stuff like that. Well, Demoree is saying that account she done found out is run by the sister of one of the defendants in this lawsuit. So these two right here apparently allegedly are sisters, Jessica and Heather. They don't have the same last name, but they got all these receipts in this motion right here. Demoree's trying to say, Your Honor, Jessica Katie is violating this court's order by feeding information to her sister, Heather. And then Heather's going on her account. Again, this is according to Demoree. Heather's going on her account, Tell the Truth Blackbird, and saying like insider stuff, sharing insider stuff. So Demoree has done some investigating of her own, Sig 9, and she's got some things to say. So I thought we could look at a few things in this filing. It's 16 pages long. This one was filed in September, last month, September 4th, my birthday. Happy birthday to me. September 4th, earlier this year, a motion for an order to basically hold Jessica Katie in contempt. So she says, an Instagram user with the profile name Tell the Truth Blackbird created an account after this lawsuit had already started. Okay, so the lawsuit happens, Demoree sues, and then this account is created after the fact. This account, quote, was dedicated solely to slandering Demoree, Javon, and their lawyers. On June 26th this year, 2025, one day after the court entered a gag order, the same Tell the Truth Blackbird made an X account. The purpose of the X account, quote, was solely to slander Javon and Demoree and their lawyer. The X account, they put the picture of it in here. They got circles, they got underlines. The X account shown below even included a link to the Instagram account. So they're trying to put it together. Look, it's a Twitter account, but it's the same person. Look, there's even a link to the Instagram. Look, they're linking. In 2 months, this account has posted over 288 posts. They're calling it derogatory posts on X about Demoree, Javon, and their counsel. Almost the average of 5, quote, slanderous posts per day. And they got the picture. And then, yeah, it's like a purported screenshot from what is supposedly a domestic dispute. The filing goes on. From the beginning, Demoree knew she had suspicions that this was somebody on the inside, but, maybe she couldn't prove it at the time. She also points to this Google Drive folder. Now, this becomes important later, but just take note right here. It's this guy, they got it circled, very helpful. It's like a very, it's giving Tyrone Blackburn. It's like just right there. You don't have to flip to the back for an exhibit. It's right there. Look at that circle. See that? That Google file, remember that. The Google Drive folder. Remember that link. It's called Demoree Hadley Files, all one word. As explained in Demoree's prior filing, digital examination showed that a woman by the name of Heather Wilson was behind these accounts. Who's Heather Wilson? That's the defendant's sister. But nobody wanted to fess up to it. She also points to this particular file called, quote, 01-16-22-punch.mp4. Very specific file name, and it happens to be the exact name of a file that Desiree, the CEO of Rock Nation, had previously provided to a prosecutor's office trying to get Javon Hadley, her son-in-law, in trouble. Now, at the time, this was a big controversial video because where did she get it from? Was she spying in the bedroom? She says no. But it's now we have this exact same file name in this publicly available Google Drive link on this Twitter or this Instagram account that was created only after this lawsuit started. And it starts to look like maybe someone connected to the case is behind these accounts. And that is what Demoree is saying she suspected. She ends up getting an investigator of her own involved. They find out that a woman called Heather Wilson was behind this account. Demoree said, I knew that this wasn't some concerned citizen. The other defendants are trying to say this is some concerned citizen. No, it was not. Demoree said, I knew that nobody in this lawsuit was going to fess up to knowing this woman, so I just had to sit there. She gets into who is Heather Wilson. She said she's a digital media and advertising specialist. Well, that's important context. She owns and manages a digital marketing firm. It's called the Brand Strategy Tank. Specializes in brand and social media management. She's also a member of the Eureka Springs, Arkansas City Advertising and Promotion Commission. This is her LinkedIn right here. Yeah, Heather Wilson, HR expert, owner and managing director, talent attraction strategy. So she hires people, recruitment, marketing, employer, brand, organizational development, community building. I help businesses hit 700% return on investment on key campaigns. This sounds like Lima coded, it's just kind of like, what does this mean? $100 million in the net. Like, what do you mean? Not surprisingly, Demoree recently discovered that Miss Wilson, that's Heather, is also the sister of defendant Jessica Katie, the drama. Jessica Katie owns, again, SIG, or part owner of SIG 9. SIG 9 and Jessica Katie are both still defendants surviving in this case. Remember that chart? There's only 4 green lines on it. Katie and Sig9, Jessica, Katie, and Sig9 are 2 of those 4 lines. It's also like giving like she finds people online to help her run these campaigns. I have no proof of that, but like that's what I felt like when I saw recruitment marketing. It's like, do you find like little YouTubers and be their manager, or like, you know, push them in a certain direction to push narratives or whatever? Like the fact that she's supposedly, according to Demoree and these investigators behind this Tell the Truth Blackbird account, it's like, do I really think Heather herself, actual Wilson, is tweeting this? Maybe, because her sister is in the case, but like maybe she just hired someone. Recruitment marketing. It could mean a lot of things, basically. Vague marketing. Marketing what? So it's like, okay, although they have different last names, right? Jessica's Katie is her last name, and then Heather Wilson. Their digital footprint proves their relationship. They're like, oh, you're not the only one that can do digital social media research. Girl, look what they dug up. Their Aunt Sandra. Now, she says Sandra, but it looks like her name is Sonda. You see what I mean? Like the name Sanda, Instagram name. I'll call her Sandra because that is what it says. Who lived in South Florida, recently moved to Arkansas near Heather Wilson, posted several public, see, they're putting a public, this ain't private, public photographs of Jessica Katie and her sister Heather Wilson, referring to both of them as her, quote, niece. Now, I didn't do a DNA test. I don't know if these girls are sisters. I'm just reading y'all what I'm seeing in this document. There's more pictures here. This is page 6. Both Jessica and Heather are even featured in a profile picture on their mom's social media account, whose last name is also Wilson. What does this say? You were born to change lives. You were born to chase the light. You were born and filled. I wasn't born to chase the light. I am the light. Now they telling on themselves. I can chase nothing. Light's right here. Chase the light. Yeah, and get $20,000 from its insurance each month. You were born and filled us all. Girl, who wrote this? With so much joy, wishing you a wonderful day. This is so Lima from Aura coded. What'd you think happened to the rest of her lips? In search of. Anyway, okay. So this is allegedly apparently them with their mom. While Miss Wilson and her family are free to post on social media, yes. Demoree's like, she's not allowed to use her sister as a way to go about getting around this gag order. No. If I can't talk, they can't talk. Jessica Katie's act of feeding her sister information, this is a quote, about this case was blatant and intentional. They give an example, quote, for instance, on July 30th, 2025, Miss Wilson, that's Heather, posted on Tell the Truth Blackbird that Jessica Katie's security company may be dropping things not yet public. So kind of like my sister's security company is going to be leaking something. Here's the screenshot, the bottom of it. Security company may be dropping things not yet public. Remember, Demoree went in truck with them. Space, period, space. We don't know what came out of her mouth. Well, I think if I was in that truck, what came out of my mouth might be cussing them out. They might have had reason to call me crazy if they would have locked me up in that truck. Anyway, okay. They weren't calling her crazy. They were calling her on substances, and she did test negative on the drug test, hair follicle. Okay, so in this post, Demoree's like, they're clearly referring to the sister's company, Sig9, who's a defendant in this case. Heather Wilson even previously posted a photo from body camera footage, falsely claiming again that Demoree chose voluntarily to go in the car. And they get into like, a little bit of that. But the main point here, and I do think it's a compelling argument Demoree is trying to make, is that this account is not only violating the gag order, but beyond that, if they are not, the judge is going to have to decide. But beyond that, the violation is such that they are trying to influence the public's opinion of the case. And Demoree is calling foul. She's saying you can't do that. You can't feed somebody information and have them influence the public. And it don't look good that that's this woman's seemingly job to do social media marketing campaigns, social media digital marketing campaigns. Here's another great example of that on page 9. Quick update. Dr. Bober's protective order was denied in open court. I don't know why, but the judge said he can file it again. Bober is another one of the defendants still in the case, so this is still relevant. This Instagram story goes on, so it was probably just a procedural issue. Again, in my opinion, this is good evidence that they're trying to influence the public's opinion, because look, it was probably just a procedural issue or administrative error versus anything scandalous, so don't read into it. Who's she talking to? Who is this person trying to talk to and tell not to read into something if somebody wants to? In my opinion, it's great evidence that this is an account that is trying to influence the public's opinion, not just, I think, look, don't read into telling people what to do. And it's like this person wasn't in court that day, but she was obviously communicating with somebody who was in court that day. How else would she have known that? It says Heather Wilson probably would try to claim she learned it from the court denying the motion, but look at this receipt they dug up. She said she'd be lying because remember, when did she tweet this? 9:15 p.m. on July 31st. 9:15 p.m. But the public wasn't made aware through the docket until it was filed the next day. The only people who would have known at the time that the Tell the Truth Blackbird story was put up, quick update, don't read into it. The only people who would have known were people in court. The only people who would have known were people in court or people in court told somebody else. It wasn't until almost 12 full hours later that the public was made aware. So Demoree's like, how did this person know? And she just so happens to be the sister of Jessica Katie, and she just so happens all this. It gets worse. On that same day, Friday, August 29th, Demoree's lawyer had sent emails to the other side, making them aware, but the stuff never came down. Jessica Katie said, I didn't violate that order. She said, I didn't direct my sister to do that. Demoree and them are saying, yeah, but you denied knowing her, first of all, which is kind of like trying to conceal it, maybe. That's your sister, and you denied you even knew who that was? Okay, that's weird. And also, just so happens she's going real hard, like 10 and 11 toes down for you. You were feeding her stuff before it even hit the public docket, and you did it knowing she would publish it. This is all Demoree's argument. Here on page 12, the Hadleys emphasize, and I think this is another strong point, I did just mention it, that Miss Wilson posted under an alias. Tell the Truth Blackbird. She tried to conceal her identity. Not only did she try to conceal her identity, they're arguing, Demoree had also previously already been suspicious of this Heather Wilson. She already previously identified her in prior filings, and all of the other parties pretended not to know who this Heather Wilson was. Jessica Katie only acknowledged, quote, that Miss Wilson was her sister when they got caught. Because remember, Demoree is saying she found this out through investigators. Now, what they're demanding happened, and this again was filed in September. I don't think the judge has actually issued an order on this. They may be going through the magistrate court at this point. But Demoree just is kind of saying what's good for the goose got to be good for the gander. You cannot hold me in contempt or hold me in getting sanctions. All the while this stuff is up, this Google Drive link, it's probably coming from them, she's saying. All the posts that were put up after the gag order need to come down, she's saying, and any photographs owned by Demoree. Now, I don't know what the court is going to decide. But I thought that was pretty interesting, hand getting caught in the cookie jar moment where, according to Demoree, the other side, all denied even knowing who this Heather Wilson was. Heather Wilson said she was just a concerned citizen, then ended up coming to find out that they are sisters. And Demoree saying they tried to hide that. Now, importantly, Jessica Katie and them have filed in response to this and said Demoree is saying this stuff with absolutely no proof. Absolutely no evidence. She's delusional. She's crazy. She's making stuff up. Don't have nothing to do. People can post what they want. The judge gonna have to decide. As of right now, that's what's going on in order of importance on the Demoree docket. That's what they do on Nicki Minaj's internet and on the docket, girl. I don't know. I just wanted to come through and let y'all know that. Till the next one. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Neither are opinions. Innocent till proven guilty. Not liable till proven liable. Love you, Mina K. Bye.
You should've kept my name out your mouth. Fast ego, how it all turned out. When you try to use my name for clout, keep on going, give you something you could